What's up, guys? This is Matt, and you're watching TV Punch for Wednesday, October 21st. And today I'm going to be talking about Arrow Season 4, Episode 3, titled Restoration. This was a fantastic episode. There was a lot in this episode. I'm going to try to run through some of the major plot points and also touch on some quick hits, just some things that I noticed that I thought were pretty cool. So with that said, watch out for spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode yet, pause this, go watch it, come back. You'll be glad you did. But let's run through some quick hits real quick. Just some odd things this time around. The first one being Felicity hacking into a crane and controlling it remotely. Can you really do that? Can you hack into a crane and control it remotely? Hey, the voice modulator is back. I guess Oliver really did forget to turn it on last time. We get the best Felicity scene ever when she pretty much just lays down the law with Oliver and Diggle and basically threatens their life until they work out the differences, which I was glad to see. T-Spheres! We also get the second best Felicity scene ever when she shoots a machine gun, because Felicity and machine guns, something about that's just awesome. I totally heard Stephen Amell's lisp. He hurt his tongue a few weeks back filming. I guess he was filming this episode. He posted on Facebook a little about having to do some ADR afterwards, and I guess maybe they left out a scene. I don't know, but I could totally hear it, and it was pretty darn funny. So let's jump into the main plot points of this episode. There's 3 of them. I'll kind of run through that. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff in this episode. I'm going to try to cover it all, but I don't want this video to last for 4 hours, so I'm going to hit the high points. If I've forgotten anything, please leave a comment below, and we'll talk about it some more. So the first thing we have is Thelma and Louise, Thea and Laurel running around Nanda Parbat, lugging around Sarah's casket like it's Weekend at Bernie's or something. But the first thing that we see in Nanda Parbat is Malcolm and Nyssa sparring, or you think they're sparring. She's actually trying to kill him, and Malcolm's enjoying that. But Thea and Laurel bust up in there almost demanding. It was actually, Malcolm's a bad dude, but I thought they were still kind of rude. They pretty much demanded that Malcolm resurrect Sarah, and thankfully, thankfully, Malcolm and Nyssa both say no, and they're both very rational about it. They explain once again, because apparently they can't get it through their heads, that if you go into the pit, you don't come out the same. He explains that Thea wasn't dead. She was almost dead, not all the way dead, but she wasn't dead when she went in, and Sarah has been dead for forever. And Laurel doesn't care. Laurel's not thinking straight, and it's really kind of annoying. I like Laurel's character. I like how far she's come, but she's being really annoying with this thing. She has seen the effects on Thea. She has people who know how the Lazarus Pit work telling her this won't work, or it's never been done, or if it has been done, it's only been done in a legend. You don't know what's going to happen. And she's like, I don't care, do it anyway. Throughout the episode, it keeps jumping back and forth to Nanda Parbat, but near the end, they do resurrect Sarah in what was kind of an anticlimactic resurrection scene. I mean, if she's been dead for over a year, it looks like she was resurrected in about 20 seconds, but what comes out is not Sarah. She's almost savage. She doesn't speak. They have to chain her up. But Laurel still, oh, you're fine. Thea did the same thing. It's just going to take a little bit longer. So Laurel is off the deep end. But we know that Sarah's going to get back to some sense of normalcy at some point, because we've seen the Legends of Tomorrow trailers. I don't know how Constantine fits in all this. Maybe he's the one that helps her get back to, like I said, get back to normalcy, get back to being at least part human, get part of her soul back, I guess. But we didn't see that in this episode. But next episode looks like we're going to get a lot of this. It looks like we're going to get a lot of Damien, of Captain Lance. He's going to see the effects of this, so that's going to be really, really great. One other thing of note when Thea and Laurel are hanging out in Nanda Parbat is Thea talks to Malcolm about her urge to kill, and Malcolm tells her, well, if you kill every so often, you won't have the urge for a while. Kind of sounds like a vampire. If you drink a little bit of blood, you'll be good for a while. He actually sends a couple of his League of Assassin cronies in there. Thea kills him, but she's adamant, I will not kill again. I will not kill again. I guarantee she does. And that's what... And Laurel is witnessing all this. So that's what makes me think, what is she thinking? Because she is seeing the hell that Thea is going through, and she wants to put her sister through that too. I don't get it. I don't get it. Thankfully, at the end of this episode, Nyssa destroys the Lazarus Pit. I don't really know how. It looks like she maybe poured something in it, but she destroyed the Lazarus Pit. We'll see what ramifications that has. I guess maybe they don't need to revive anybody else, or I guess that gets rid of the MacGuffin that anybody who dies, you can just throw them in the pit. Because if they didn't do that and Sarah's resurrection is successful at some point, you would think that anybody could just be thrown in and revived. So I guess that's a good way to eliminate that dangling plot device. So I'm glad that happened. And next week with Sarah is gonna be awesome. Next up, we get a lot of Diggle in this episode. A lot of Diggle working with Hive, trying to get revenge with his brother, and also working on his issues with Oliver, which is pretty cool. So Diggle learns that a woman named Mina Fayyad is the one who put the hit on his brother. And coincidentally, because this is TV and everything works out perfect, she's in Star City. Now, she's not alone. She has brought a man named Double Down with her. His name is Jeremy Tell, and he's actually a character from the comics. He's a metahuman. In the books, he's actually a con man who, this sounds a little strange, but bear with me. He's a con man who gets a cursed deck of cards grafted to his body. Basically, eats away all his skin, and his skin is all these cards, these playing cards. And he can control them and throw them and do various things with them. In the show, the way they explain it is he's actually getting a tattoo of a playing card when the particle accelerator in Central City explodes. That happened last year on The Flash. And he's now in Star City with this woman at the behest of Hive. They think that there is a vigilante problem. They don't necessarily trust Damien to take care of it, so they send Mina Fayyad and they send Double Down in to take care of it. So, all right, Diggle knows she's in town. He's going to go take care of her, but not before Damien Dark kills Mina Fayyad, which I actually thought was really, really cool. I mean, I actually kind of gasped a little bit because that's the woman who's responsible for Diggle's brother's death, and she dies before he even gets to her. So it's like, well, now what do you do? I mean, you can still take down Hive, I suppose, but the woman who's directly responsible for this is already dead. So that's just yet another dead end for Diggle. I felt kind of bad for him, but it was awesome because he finally sort of opens up to Oliver. He tells him all about Hive and the hit on his brother and all that stuff. Oliver is pretty surprised. Diggle, you've been keeping this from me for 2 years. I'm really surprised, but Oliver offers to help him. This episode's great because they start to work through their differences. Oliver, near the end, jumps in front of one of Double Down's cards to save Diggle, and that rebuilds the trust. Oliver had a great line where he's talking to Diggle, and he basically said, "I understand why you're mad. I get it. I crossed a line. I understand. But what I don't understand is why won't you give me the chance to earn that trust back?" And I think that's what really made Diggle turn the corner. I was glad that happened. And it all happened because of that awesome scene with Felicity that I mentioned when she pretty much locked them in the Arrow Cave and made them work it out. So we're finally going to get past the Oliver and Diggle nonsense. Everybody else is forgiving Oliver, and I think Diggle finally is too. We get the OTA, the original Team Arrow. That was Felicity's phrase. We get them back, of course, because you've got Thelma and Louise over there in Nanda Parbat, so you've got just the original 3 back. That was really fun to see them work together. I want some more of that. And the last thing I'll talk about is the flashbacks. So we see Oliver working with Baron Blitzkrieg, which I actually didn't mention at all last week, so sorry about that. And I didn't mention Echo Kellum as Curtis Holt either. He's fantastic. He was really fun in this episode, so I'm excited to see more of what he's going to do working with Felicity, to see how maybe he incorporates himself into Team Arrow at some point. But I digress. Back to the flashbacks. So Oliver is basically working for Baron Blitzkrieg, and they're overseeing a field of workers who are basically harvesting plants to make drugs. It's a half opium drug that they say is really, really potent. This was really cool because that's pretty much straight out of Green Arrow Year 1, which, if you haven't read that, is awesome. It is one of the best Green Arrow stories. It's basically the story of Oliver on the island for those 5 years and how he survives. The whole story takes place on the island. It's really, really good. You should check that out if you want to know anything about Green Arrow. But that story is straight out of the book, more or less. I mean, Oliver in the book doesn't end up working for the bad guys, but they are overseeing workers harvesting plants, making drugs. What is interesting about the flashback is that we meet the actress that it was reported on earlier in the year that was cast to be Oliver's love interest in the flashbacks. Now, the actress's name is Elysia Rutaru. We don't know her character's name yet, but we do know what her character's name is not, and that is Carol Ferris. So everybody was speculating, myself included, that maybe she was being cast as Carol Ferris. I thought that all of the flashbacks this year were going to take place in Coast City. I knew we weren't going to get Hal Jordan, but I was thinking, it'd be awesome if it was Carol Ferris. He could sort of have a thing with her, and that kind of ties in Green Lantern, even though I know we'll never get that. But they are not going in that direction at all. No Coast City, no Carol Ferris. But we are introduced to this new character. We'll learn more about her as the series progresses, but I don't know yet how these flashbacks are going to sort of tie into the present day story. I did read an article mentioning that Oliver's relationship with this woman in the flashback is going to parallel his relationship with Felicity in the present day. I don't know what that means yet. I don't know what significance that has. Maybe that's a way to get, I don't know, I hate to say it, maybe it is Felicity in the grave, and that's kind of how we get there. Or maybe it's just, maybe that's used as a plot device for Oliver and Felicity to split, which eventually leads Oliver to Laurel. If you watch my Arrow Who's in the Grave video, I talk a little bit about how they wind up together in the books, how Green Arrow and Black Canary are they have this timeless relationship. I don't know yet. We didn't get that much of the flashbacks in this. It was very small. The only thing that we really saw is how Oliver helped her escape. So I don't really know where that's going to go or how that's going to tie in. But that's it, guys. That's everything I've got. I really feel like I missed a lot. This episode, I mean, I was making notes while I was watching, and I just felt like I couldn't keep up. But that's a good thing. I'm not saying that it's bad. There was just so much in this. We got some more. Neil McDonough as Damien Dark. He is a fantastic villain. Maybe my favorite one already. We're only 3 episodes in, so that may be a little premature, but he's just so good because he's just evil. He's just a bad dude just to be a bad dude, and that's what I wanted. I don't want to feel compassion for the bad guys. I like for there to be good guys, and I like for there to be bad guys, and they fight. I'm pretty simple like that, and it looks like we might get some of that with Oliver and Damien this year. But I'm going to cover every episode as it comes out, so if you want to see those videos, please subscribe by clicking the button below. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you can see it on youtube.com/nerdpunch. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook at nerdpunch on both of those. And you can also check out nerdpunch.com, where we are posting other cool stuff that we find online, and you can also check out our schedule of upcoming videos. But that's it, guys. This was a great episode. I think I'm going to watch it again, and until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.